What's happening, y'all? So we had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about champions, and it really kind of came from this Islam versus Dustin Poirier fight. But we were thinking about which champions are the most vulnerable and which champions are the least vulnerable. And I figured it would be cool to kind of look at that and kind of rank them. And so I think that we'll take y'all along the journey as we kind of look at all these champions and kind of talk through it and figure out where they would rank from most vulnerable to least vulnerable. So yes, if you're playing the game at home, make sure you leave that in the comments to let us know where you think that we're messing up and how you would rank.
I'm sure
them
they'll
as well.
tell us.
Oh yeah. I think they'll have their opinions, which of course that's great. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. It's all the opinions.
Yeah, when you're calling me an asshole, like, share, and subscribe while you do it.
For sure. All right, so let's see. Let's take a look at all of these champions.
Ladies and gents, it's officially that time of the year. Sun's out, guns out, and let's not forget about the buns out too. Thanks to the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra from MANSCAPED, you can make sure everything's smooth from your pubes to your bum. Yes, we're talking about keeping your boys downstairs cool while turning up the heat everywhere else. Now let me tell you about the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This trimmer is a game changer with its dual LED spotlights and skin-safe technology to help reduce grooming accidents. Whether you're at the beach, by the lake, or stepping out of the shower, this waterproof wonder has got your back and your front. Believe me, after a close encounter with my old trimmer last summer, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Thanks to Manscaped, my confidence and my sack are both looking better than ever. And because we love giving back to our fans, here's an exclusive offer for you. Head over to manscaped.com and use promo code MTW to get 20% off plus free shipping. Yes, you heard right, 20% off and free shipping with code MTW. But wait, there's more. Like this video, share it on Instagram or Twitter, tag us, and leave a comment below, and you'll be entered in our drawing to win a free Lawnmower 5.0. Don't miss this chance to elevate your grooming game. So, what are you waiting for? Join the Smooth Sack Summer movement with Manscaped. Get on board or get left behind.
All right, cool. All right, so what we have here is all of the champions, and that's male and female. All, how many is this? 12 of them. 12 champions. 12 champions. Only 11 divisions, but 12 champions. Yep, and we know how that works out. So do you want to start from, I think it's probably easiest to start from the least vulnerable to the most vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right,
I'm
so
cool with that.
for me, in my mind, the least vulnerable gotta be Islam Makhachev. Like, I just don't know. You know, I think that Arman Sarukian is a tough challenge for him, but I mean, Islam's already beat him. We already saw that. So
Yeah.
why would I think that that's not going to happen again? For me, Islam is the least vulnerable champion.
Yeah, this is a pretty quick one. Obviously, a lot of people will see Sarukian as a threat. I mean, I think Sarukian's very, very good, but I just think stylistically, Islam's got all the advantage. And I think at that weight class, the divisions are already not great in my opinion. And considering how far ahead he is of everyone else, yeah, this was the easiest one.
Yeah,
You've got to go with Islam. I think he keeps that belt as long as he feels like it, really.
pretty much. All right, so moving on from him, who do you think is the next one? I don't.
I went with John Jones.
You went with John Jones?
I went with John Jones. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say that because I was actually kind of leaning that way as well, but it's not necessarily just because of who I
It's
think
not
that
for
he can
good
beat.
reasons.
Yeah, it's not because
It,
of who I think he can beat. It's it's because the organization is kind of protecting him. Well, I
yeah,
say kind of. I mean, they
and
are.
he's doing a very good job protecting himself as well, I might add.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think because of the circumstances, he's clearly picked a matchup that I think is going to be quite favorable for him. I do rate Stipe, but he's the pad work and stuff we've seen. He looks extremely, let's just say, labored. I'm going to try and
Yes.
use a better vocabulary to insult people these days.
Slow
Let's say
and
labored.
lethargic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and lethargic. Maybe he was having a sleepy day.
I don't know. He looked bad on those pads. Not in the
Yeah,
sense
I'm
of
gonna.
they're calling out something and he's not doing it. It's just he's doing it in his own time, very, very slowly.
And you see, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy to put bad footage out to throw somebody off. I don't think he's that much of a thinker. I don't think of this when I think of Stipe. I think of like something else.
Yeah.
A lot less flattering.
Okay.
And I'll leave it there.
So we got John Jones there. Who do you have next? I think. You know what? I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna tell you who I had.
Okay.
I actually had Tom Aspinall next.
Okay.
And the reason being is because I don't think that he's gonna fight this dude. I don't think he's gonna fight John Jones. And outside of John, I struggle to find anybody in the division that he wouldn't be heavily favored against.
Yeah. Tom Aspinall's he's not at this high up for me, but he's reasonably high because I actually have a lot of respect for Curtis Blades, and the way that the fight was going, the first fight was going.
Mm-hmm.
Blades, I mean, I know the fight was 15 seconds, but like he looked like he could stand with him, and you know, he looked okay to start things out. So I do think that Aspinall is going to. I do expect him to beat Blades, but I'm not supremely confident on that enough to put him too high up in the rankings. He's a little bit further down for me.
Who did you have next?
Next, I had Leon Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think I think he's gonna beat the tar out of Bilal. Or maybe not beat the tar out of him, but I think he could cruise to a very easy decision. Like in the first fight they had, he pretty much, I've never seen Leon Edwards have such a lack of respect for an opponent and go for an opponent that way. He genuinely doesn't like him.
Yeah.
And based on how the first round was going, that was the most aggressive Leon that we've seen. And I don't know what Bilal's gonna have for him. I genuinely don't. Like, I don't think he's good enough in any area to really trouble Leon. And I think Leon will have more trouble further down the line. But in terms of the immediate future, I'm gonna have to go with Leon. I think he's fairly secure, at least for his next title defense.
Yeah. Let's go with Leon. Okay. So after that, now we're getting to some interesting fighters here. On who we have left. We got Pantoja, O'Malley, Ilia Topuria, Dricus Duplessis, Alex Pereira, Tom Aspinall still there, Jean-Wei Lee, Alexa Grasso, and Raquel Pennington.
Yes. Yeah, it's rough. There's a lot of danger scattered throughout here.
Yeah.
The next one I actually had Wei Lee was my next one. Yeah, my next one is Wei Lee, just because I think like it is likely that she'll get Tatiana next, but I think she's going to be good enough to get past her, because I think the Yan Xiaonan fight is going to light a fire under her a little bit. I think if she'd steamrolled Yan Xiaonan, I would have been a bit more concerned.
Interesting.
But I think the fact that she struggled in that fight, I think she's going to get back to serious training, and you know, she's going to keep her foot on the gas from that perspective. And I'm not sure Tatiana's going to get the fight next as well. So I think even if she does or if she doesn't, thank you. if she does or if she doesn't, I think Zhang is very, very, and again, it's weird because it's more to do with the fact of everybody else that we're about to talk about, not just, so it's not the fact that I think she's a lock to beat Tatiana. I just think that based on the other champions that we're going to talk about, she is a bit more secure for me than others, potentially.
So I actually had Pantoja. The reason being is, while I thought that Steve Erceg did very well in that fight, he still lost it. He still lost. And Pantoja has wins over so many people in the division. Yeah, like who beats him? Who actually beats him? Like I know Manel is, if he can get his life together and beat the scale, he's a viable threat. I don't think Mokaev is a threat at all. Kaikar France still has some work to do to get into the title picture. Like, I struggle finding who is actually going to beat Pantoja in the near future.
Yeah.
And with Zhang Weili, like, even though I think that, she's one of the greatest of all time, I think that Tatiana Suarez fight is a very tough fight, because I think that Jianan showed that size difference could be something that could be problematic for Zhang Weili. And it actually made me kind of sour on Zhang Weili going up to fight Alexa Grasso. Which
it definitely did that for me. It definitely did that for me. I'm just not convinced on, part of me as well, I'm not entirely convinced on Tatiana yet. I don't think she's really, I don't think we've seen enough of her to say that she could definitely hang with her. I think it's more to do with that as well. She's so inactive. And I'm not sure she even gets it because the injuries are still piling up for her. She's fought how many times in 3 years? 2?
Like 2.
Yeah. I don't know. And Weili's dog tough. So
I kind of think that they will give her the fight next because of the fact that
no one else.
Yeah, and they paraded her out, at UFC 302. She was there. So it makes me think that they're trying to get her some more FaceTime. To kind of start to push.
It's very likely. I don't think it's necessarily deserved, but just because of the inactivity, I'm not saying she doesn't have the talent. I am willing to put Pantoja next on because he was next in line for me, and I agree with like the reasoning you had for that as well. I think like he's mowed through most of the division. The reason why I had him lower than Zhang is because I just feel like he's won very well, but he's shown vulnerabilities. He's shown a few gas tank issues, and he's been in quite a few wars. So, for me, I think he's going to come unstuck against somebody who's just going to outgrit him at some point. But it depends who's next. See who is next. But he's fairly secure. Looking at other champions, he's definitely a secure one for me.
Yeah. So I think Pantoja next, and then Zhang Weili after that. I think that's fair. All right, so now we're down to 7. All right, we got Tom, Alexa, Raquel, Alex, Dricus, Ilya, and Sean. Oh man.
Yeah. Do you want to hear mine?
Yes.
Yeah, my next one was Tom.
Yeah, that's the way I was going.
Yeah, while I think Blades is a threat, Aspinall should get it done. Looking at the improvements that he's made and just the skill set that he has, I'm not going to entirely judge that performance against Blades, the first one, for what it was, the 15 seconds of it and the injury. I'm going to look at what he's done recently and say that based on he's the most skilled heavyweight we might have ever seen in terms of how well-rounded he is. And while I do think Blades is a massive banana skin waiting to happen, if things go the way that they should, skill-wise, I think Tom should be fairly. And it feels so strange talking about a not vulnerable interim champion, but fucking John Jones. So, dude. John Jones show. So I think Aspinall there is.
That is a video into itself, this John Jones weirdness. Ugh, that is so. I hate it. I hate it. But no, I agree. Tom, he really feels like he could be the best heavyweight that we've ever seen. Because I mean, the skills that he has at the size that he is, his ability to move the way that he does, I feel like for him to get that type of title, he's going to have to beat a few people. But I think that they can be beaten. Like he's going to have to beat Curtis Blades because he's got to clean that up, and he's going to have to beat Cyril Gane. I know Cyril Gane is a tough person to deal with when it comes to getting him in the cage, but he's another person that's at the top of the mountain that people look at as the possibility of being a champion, and he has to completely squash that. And I think that he can, but it has to happen.
Yeah, I like that. Oddly enough, this might sound strange, but I prefer the Cyril Gane matchup more than the Curtis Blades one.
Yeah, I do too.
Because Gane's Gane, his first of all, I just the takedown game and the ability to get submitted is horrendous, and Tom Aspinall is so high level in that regard for a heavyweight. Considering how good he is at striking as well, I would say they're comparable striking. I could make an argument for both of one being better than the other, but it's razor close. And but when it comes to the other side of it, Aspinall is far superior. So I just feel like it's a better matchup for him overall.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. All right, so we're up to the top 6, and we have Dricus, Raquel, Sean, Alexa, Ilya, and Alex. I'll tell you who I had at 6, and I have Alex Pereira. I feel like Alex, as far as like his immediate challengers, I feel okay about how he's going to face up against his immediate challengers. I think that when it comes to Yuri, I mean, we've already seen that play out. And then, you think about Ankalaev. I mean, I do think that Ankalaev can actually beat him, but Ankalaev has to use his full MMA game to do so. And I don't have supreme faith that we even get that fight, to be honest. Like, I feel like the UFC doesn't even really want that to happen.
This is another thing I got into been having a big row about for the last 2 days on Twitter about.
Okay.
But I've been getting like some very vicious comments in my direction. Specifically when I may have suggested that Ankalaev is not taking the opportunities that's being presented to him, and he's kind of trying to have things, he kind of feels like entitled to have things favorable for him.
Yeah.
So he could have fought him at 300, which 300 maybe not, because obviously Ramadan. He could have fought at 302, and he's trying to basically shift it to no, I want to fight in November in Abu Dhabi. And Alex Pereira's like, well, I want to fight in August, so go fuck yourself.
And he's the champ.
Basically.
Like, dude,
I feel like Ankalaev's got this opinion that like he's entitled to call the shots, whereas like that level of delusion is annoying to me as well. So I don't even know if that fight happens. It probably will be Yuri in August, unless Ankalaev realizes what's going on and says, oh, maybe I should just take the fight because I might not get it.
Do you think that Yuri can beat him?
I don't hate the possibility of it. I mean, I think he did very well in round 1, and I think if he hadn't been so rusty, and if he didn't get so careless, that's who he is. I don't know. I give him about a 35% chance.
Yeah,
I would say, which is, considering he just got knocked out by him not too long ago, is reasonably high, I think. You'd favor Alex in that situation all day. You favor Alex against most people.
Yeah.
I had Alex next. I had him 5th.
You had him 5th?
Yeah.
What did you have at 6?
I had Ilya Topuria.
Interesting.
Yeah, the reason why I have Ilya Topuria is just because of the 2 potential people he could be matched up with. It's either going to be Max Holloway, who could be a stylistic nightmare for him, we don't know, and is still as good as ever. Or we could have might have to do a little cut out of that there quickly when you get back to that. It's either going to be Max or it's going to be Volkanovski, who I still think Volkanovski will give him, because I predicted this a few weeks back when I said that when they fight again, I think it will be a lot closer. I think it will be more of a fight. I think it will be more of a 5-round battle. So that's why I think he's in more immediate danger, not because I don't rate him as a champion or rate him as a talent. It's more that the guys he may potentially have to face are very, very dangerous, and we don't know who we don't know how he's going to match up with Max, which is looking like it might be the next one. So that's why I've got him in a vulnerable spot. When I was looking at, because I did frame it as in like who's in more danger out of him and Alex, and I think Ankalaev is less of a threat to Alex than Max is to Poirier, and that's why I put him above him.
So you had Alex at 6 and Ilya at 5?
I had Ilya, and let me just double check that. I had Ilya at 6, and no, it should be the other way around. So I had Alex at 6 and Ilya at 5.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because if I'm looking at the contenders that they have, to your point, like I am less, if I was, these fighters, I would be less fearful of Ankalaev than I am of Max Holloway. Like, I think that Max can definitely win that fight. It's more the stylistic thing, because we don't know how, and again, we saw Ilya struggle with Jai Herbert, for example, at lightweight. He's quite rangy and isn't the best fighter in the world. So it will be interesting to see how he matches up with somebody who's got that range advantage on him. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's going to be a crazy one. All right, so who do you have it for?
My number 4 is Sean O'Malley. Which is, I just think Merab is going to be tough to deal with. I do think Sean beats him. I really do. I do think that Sean wins. I don't think there's anyone at bantamweight other than the only one. The most difficult matchup I see for Sean in that division is Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah.
Just because he's got the length and he can also grapple to hell as well. Whereas Merab could go in there. It's going to go two ways, isn't it? Either Merab's going to be able to get a hold of him and stay close and just make it a grind for 5 rounds where he's on him like, white on rice.
Yeah.
Or Sean is going to be able to keep him away and it's just going to piece him apart and either knock him out or beat him to death for 5 rounds. So it's the unknown for me of that. And again, it's not me disrespecting Sean O'Malley as a champion, because I think he's outstandingly talented and I think he's leveled up.
Yeah.
Considerably. Not just since since before he became champion, but he's leveled up considerably since he's become champion. So I think that while it seems weird because it seems like I might be disrespecting him, but again, it's more to do with who he's potentially facing and how that potential matchup might go. Yeah.
So this one, for me, it came down to Sean and Alexa. And I was really just kind of comparing who they're fighting. Like Alexa is going against Valentina Shevchenko, and Sean should be fighting Merab. And with the Alexa or with Valentina Shevchenko, like she's beaten her. She had the draw, but it feels like Valentina's starting to get old and slow. And then for Merab, on the other hand, I feel like he's ascending. And I actually give, even though I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan, I still give Merab quite a chance to win that fight. More of a chance, actually, than Valentina to win her fight against Alexa.
I'm happy doing it the other way, because again, it seems like we're thinking along very similar lines, because I had them interchangeable as well at 4 and 3.
Yeah, it really came down to those two.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have was it? Yeah, you can do Grasso and then Sean O'Malley. I'm happy with that. More just because again it's the unknowns. We've seen Grasso fight Shevchenko twice. And Shevchenko is olding or getting older, just aging.
Yeah. So the last two, Dricus du Plessis against Raquel, and then Raquel Pennington, not against her. I think Dricus would beat Raquel Pennington in the fight, but
yeah, marginally, yeah, I think it would be a scrap. I think it would be a war, but I'd give the edge to
slightly
Dricus, slightly.
I think that we know, or we don't know for sure, but we have a strong hunch that Dricus du Plessis is going to be fighting Israel Adesanya in his next fight. Raquel Pennington, I'm not sure who she's going to fight in her next fight. But
yeah,
it's the thing though. If it's Juliana Pena,
this is where it got, because this was the difference for me. If it is Juliana Pena, she goes from being the second most vulnerable to the most secure potentially.
Yeah. But if it's Kayla Harrison,
she's dead.
Yeah.
She's finished. She's gonna get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Which is why I had her at 2. I tried to find a balance because the thing is, I take the piss out of Pena constantly.
Yeah.
But she could beat her. It's not completely, because she's dog tough enough to maybe get. It's the Homer Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Pennington gets exhausted, beating the brakes off her, and then, and Pena's weird in that way where she can find she can maybe find a way to lock up a submission, or
Yeah, she could. And I agree with that. I think that hers is the matchup dependent. And Juliana Pena can do something weird to win, but she can do something weird to lose too. Hopefully, I don't know what I hope for that division. Maybe, I'm still on the Irene Aldana hype train to try to get her back into the fray of a title fight, but I know that Kayla is ranked number 4, and so they're gonna have her. If she's not fighting for the title next, it'll be a title eliminator. So
yeah,
I think this one is matchup dependent, but I'm comfortable putting Raquel at 2. And Dricus du Plessis, I think that he is in a very tenuous situation, fighting Israel Adesanya.
He could beat everyone or lose to everyone. That's what it feels like with this guy. And the reason why I'm worried is because I know they're going to give the title fight to Adesanya. They just will, whether he deserves it or not. He's going to get it. And I just feel like stylistically, again, it's a coin toss, and because if Dricus could obviously take him down and dominate him in that way, it could be very easy for him. But then with how reckless he is and how much he dives in, that's perfect. That's Adesanya, that's Adesanya catnip or dog-nip.
Yeah. Dog-nip.
Yeah. So he if Dricus gets emotional and gets careless, he could very easily get clipped. But then obviously if you get Sean again, that's a 50-50 all day long. I feel like Dricus is that kind of fighter where it's a weird one, because he is. I don't want it to feel like a disrespect thing that I'm seeing him as the most vulnerable champion, and I don't think you are either, because he's very entertaining to watch. He is skilled. It's just that sometimes the way that he fights makes you think one day you're going to get sparked out just because of the way you do things, and it's exciting. It's nobody can say that Dricus is a boring fighter to watch, and he's never going to have that tag on him. He might be called the most stupid one day. That's where it could go.
Yeah, his fight IQ is questionable. My big thing on him was always his cardio. But he showed, pretty good cardio, because Sean is the type of fighter who will zap your cardio by moving forward, and Dricus was able to kind of ward that off.
Yeah.
But
Dricus fought the way you have to fight against Sean Strickland.
yeah,
By being aggressive and not letting him push you back. Which is why he got pieced up so badly, because he had to walk into things in order to land what he wanted to land.
yeah,
And I
it's true.
respect him for it. We've seen what Sean Strickland opponents have dealt with since.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, whether Dricus gets Sean or Izzy next, I think that he's in a bit of trouble. And he could easily lose either one of those fights, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
he could, and the thing is, he could equally win both of them as well.
it's true. He could. He definitely could.
I wouldn't be surprised with either outcome.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of the Dricus Duplessis matchup.
Yeah. It's interesting. If you look at the last five, like all of these have, their last five fights, and Tom Aspinall has a loss on his, but that's the injury. Zhang Weili got knocked out by Rose Namajunas. Alexa Grasso had the draw with Valentina Shevchenko, and Alex Pereira got knocked out by Izzy. Otherwise, everybody else is on significant winning streaks. John Jones has an 18-fight winning streak. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable what these champions have done, but yeah, this is our list. I'm interested to
I'll
see
say one interesting thing though before we sign off. The amount of defenses that they've all had is very, very telling. I think the person with the most defenses is Makhachev in this list with 3.
Yeah.
Superior's got none. Alex Pereira's got 1, I think. John Jones has got none. Leon Edwards has got 2. Pantoja has got 2. How many does Weili have? 1.
1.
See what I mean? They're all fairly new champions.
Yep.
So.
Yep, man. Gone are the days where we were looking at these things and, there's George St. Pierre, John Jones, and Anderson Silva, and they've got multiple, and Demetrius Johnson, who has the most, all out there at the same time does just a ridiculous amount of title defenses. Like, we don't see that very often nowadays.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
It's fun to do. Like, it's interesting how because I thought we were going to be widely away from what each other thought, but it seems that outside of a few placements, we were generally fairly well aligned.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some of these are they make sense. John Jones was the one that I was curious about, like where you were going to place him. Just because of the weirdness of his situation, but maybe the weirdness of his situation is what made it easy.
Yeah, that's a reasonable thing to say. But again, as wild as it all is, we've got some. All of them are involved in what are potentially going to be great matchups. I mean, they could all lose. Makhachev won't. They could all lose. Makhachev won't.
No, he
never losing apparently.
Yeah.
Oh God, I just want to say, as I say, his fan base has been insufferable this week. Insufferable. It makes me wish that I'd put more positive energy out in the universe of Poirier.
Yeah.
And stuff. They're talking about him beating Dricus.
Leon? Oh, what?
Leon and Dricus.
They got to stop this.
I can't take it anymore. I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, they really got to stop this foolishness. It's crazy. You can't beat Dricus.
Leon, we're never going to hear the end of it. It's never going to end. It's going to be 20. We're going to be hearing about it until we're dead, and we're going to be for when that time comes because we don't want to hear it anymore. And the last thing I say on my Twitter will be like, finally, I don't have to listen to stupid Makhachev fans anymore.
Yeah, no, they're a crazy bunch for sure. Like him beating Dricus, come on.
People are out there believing it ain't just one. I'm saying that now.
Come on, yeah.
That's
silly. I thought it was weird for Kamaru talking about going up to beat Jan Blachowicz. was like, I mean, you're good, but
Yeah, that's as soon as he said that, I knew he was going to lose to Leon. It's like, oh, he's gone crazy. Time to get the wallets out.
it's like, dude,
He's lost his mind.
like, you gotta stop this. But that was our list. I'm curious what you guys think. How did you kind of rank them? But yeah, let us know in the comments. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all those things. And yeah, till next time.